Discipline is the foundation of destiny, not charm, not chance, not talent. Discipline, it is the quiet force that builds empires within a person before the world ever sees the first stone laid. It doesn't beg for attention, it doesn't ask for applause. It simply shows up, day after day, doing what must be done even when it doesn't feel good, even when no one's watching. Discipline is where dreams take root, where visions are formed, and where legacies are built. A woman who embraces discipline doesn't just change her life, she changes generations. We live in a world obsessed with results. Everyone wants the spotlight, the title, the success, the ease. But few are willing to live in the shadows of commitment where discipline resides. The woman who masters her mornings, who chooses intention over impulse, who commits when motivation has long disappeared, that's the woman who becomes unshakable. She's not led by her emotions, she's led by her decisions, and that's what separates wishful thinking from actual progress. Discipline doesn't come wrapped in excitement, it often comes cloaked in monotony. It's in the decision to get up when the alarm rings instead of scrolling for 30 more minutes. It's in showing up to your goals when your feelings tell you to sit this one out. It's in keeping your word to yourself even when no one else will hold you accountable. Because at the end of the day, discipline is self-respect in motion. It's saying, I will not betray my future for the comfort of this moment. Many women are waiting on motivation to hit. But motivation is a guest. It comes and goes. Discipline is the home you build for yourself. You don't need to feel like it. You need to do it, because every time you choose discipline, you're voting for the woman you're becoming. You're aligning your actions with your destiny, and there is no greater power than that. The small daily decisions stacked on top of each other create momentum, and momentum births transformation. The truth is, undisciplined potential is a tragedy. How many gifted, brilliant, capable women have you seen who never became what they could have been, simply because they lacked consistency? They had the fire but not the follow-through, the vision but not the structure. Destiny does not respond to good intentions, it responds to obedience to the process. A woman may be called, but if she isn't prepared, she will miss the moment, and preparation is born in the furnace of discipline. You don't rise to the level of your talent, you fall to the level of your training. Discipline builds your training. And it's not just physical, it's mental, spiritual, emotional. When you train yourself to think differently, to respond instead of react, to pause before you speak, to create when you're tired, to move when you'd rather quit, those are the layers of discipline that shape you into a woman who can handle anything life throws at her. And here, this discipline is not punishment. It's not restriction, it's liberation. It's freedom from chaos, from confusion, from inconsistency. It is the structure that holds your vision steady in the storm. It is the boundary that protects your energy, your time, your peace. The disciplined woman says no not because she's missing out, but because she knows what she's building. Every no is a yes to something greater. It is in discipline that clarity is found. When your life is scattered and noisy, when your attention is divided, your power is diluted. But when you set order to your steps, when you remove distractions and align your daily habits with your ultimate purpose, your vision becomes clearer. The fog lifts, and suddenly, what once felt impossible begins to unfold, not because it got easier, but because you got stronger. People may not understand your discipline. They may call it extreme. They may say you've changed. Let them talk. Because while they're distracted by comfort, you are building a life, not just surviving, not just making it through. You are mastering yourself so that nothing can master you. That's what discipline does. It gives you authority over your time, your mind, your energy. And when you gain authority in the private areas of your life, you walk with power in public. Understand this: every moment of hesitation, every temptation to delay, every urge to quit, that's not weakness, that's the invitation. That's the crossroad where greatness is born. When you push through, when you silence the excuse, when you choose alignment over ease, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable because you've taught yourself that what you want most is more important than what you want right now. So yes, discipline is hard. It will ask for sacrifice. It will stretch you. It will confront your patterns. But it will also introduce you to a version of yourself you haven't met yet. A version that doesn't just dream big, but moves different. Thinks different, leads different, and lives different. Because when discipline becomes your foundation, destiny can finally be built. Small habits build immovable strength, not overnight, not with fireworks, but slowly, quietly, and deliberately. Strength isn't always loud, and it isn't always seen. Sometimes it looks like getting up 10 minutes earlier than yesterday. Sometimes it's drinking water when you'd rather reach for something sweet. Sometimes it's choosing to breathe instead of reacting. These don't seem like revolutionary acts, but they are. Because every time you choose growth over comfort in the smallest way, you are laying bricks. And over time, those bricks become a wall no storm can break. You don't become powerful by waking up one day and deciding to be. You become powerful through repetition, through intention, through learning to do the right thing even when it doesn't feel exciting. The world celebrates the big wins, the loud accomplishments. But what truly separates the strong from the shaky is what they've been doing daily, when nobody noticed, when nobody praised, and when nobody clapped. Real strength is formed in the details. The woman who has trained herself to show up daily, even in small ways, is more powerful than the one who depends on bursts of inspiration and dramatic gestures. It's easy to overlook the power of habit because it doesn't always deliver instant results. But the true test of maturity is doing the right thing without seeing immediate reward. That's where most people give up, because they mistake silence for stagnation. But in reality, your habits are working behind the scenes, like roots growing deep underground. You may not see what's changing, but something is being built in the dark. The woman who makes her bed every morning, who reads just one page, who journals her thoughts, who moves her body for 10 minutes, who speaks one affirmation aloud. That woman is not just passing time. She's setting a standard. She's reinforcing discipline. She's forming mental muscle. And soon, she won't even have to think about doing those things. They'll be part of who she is. You become what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally do, not what you intend to do, but what you actually do day in and day out. And that's both the challenge and the opportunity, because if your current habits don't align with the woman you want to become, then you have the power to change them. That doesn't require a grand reinvention. It just requires one better decision today, then another tomorrow. Then again the next day. Strength is a compound effect. You may not feel it building, but one day you'll look up and realize that the things that used to shake you don't move you anymore. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Some people chase motivation, but the wise woman builds systems. Systems of small habits that support her vision, because when life gets chaotic, and it will, what saves you is not your ambition, it's your structure. When you've practiced showing up even in small ways, even when you don't feel like it, you've already trained yourself to endure. Strength is not about pretending nothing touches you. It's about being touched and still standing, still showing up. Still choosing to move forward, no matter how small the steps may feel. There's a lie many women carry, that if it's not big, it's not enough. That if they're not overachieving, they're underperforming, but the truth is, consistency beats intensity. It's better to do a little with excellence every day than to burn yourself out trying to prove something in one day. The woman who chooses small progress daily builds something lasting. She is steady, and there is nothing more dangerous than a steady woman. Because she's unshaken, she's intentional, she's been forged in the fire of repetition. When you take responsibility for your habits, you take back power. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more hoping you'll suddenly feel ready. You decide to build yourself in the now. You build routines that support your peace, habits that affirm your worth, actions that align with your future. And little by little, you stop just dreaming of strength, you embody it. You don't need permission to do this. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect. You just need to start, because each small habit is a declaration. I am preparing for the life I deserve. You don't have to impress anyone with your process. You just have to trust it. The day you choose to rise 10 minutes earlier, you're becoming someone new. The day you put your phone down to sit in silence, you're strengthening your awareness. The day you say no to what drains you, you're honoring your growth. These choices matter, they echo, and over time, they don't just change your life, they change your posture. They change your mindset. They change what you tolerate. They change how you lead, and that change, it becomes unshakable. It becomes immovable, not because it happened quickly, but because it happened consistently. And that is real strength. Mind, spirit, and purpose must align. You can have all the ambition in the world, all the knowledge, all the potential, but if your thoughts are scattered, your soul is empty, and your purpose is unclear, you will always feel like something is missing. Alignment isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Because when your mind knows the truth, your spirit is fueled by something deeper, and your purpose is guiding your steps, you become a woman that nothing can knock off course. It starts in the mind. Your thoughts shape your decisions, your emotions, your habits. The battle for your destiny begins with what you believe about yourself. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, comparison, or shame, then no matter how big your dreams are, your self-sabotage will be louder. That's why you must protect your mental space like a battlefield, because it is one. You can't entertain every thought. You can't scroll mindlessly, feed your mind junk, and expect to walk in clarity. You must speak truth, renew your thinking, challenge the lies that crept in from childhood, heartbreak, or failure. Your mind is the engine. If it's broken, your life stalls. But when your thoughts are rooted in vision, grounded in faith, and filtered through wisdom, you begin to move differently. You don't beg for direction, you walk in it. But the mind alone isn't enough. You need a spirit that's awake, a fire that burns beneath your daily steps. You need something sacred inside of you that can't be bought, can't be faked, and can't be silenced by circumstances. Because life will test you, it will strip you, it will stretch you, and if your spirit is empty, you'll break. That's why you have to feed your soul through prayer, through silence, through connection, through moments where you stop the performance and get real with yourself and your creator. A woman with a strong spirit doesn't mean she never cries. It means she knows where her strength comes from. She knows how to be still and listen. She knows when to speak and when to surrender. Her strength isn't just willpower, it's anchored in something eternal. She walks into rooms and shifts the atmosphere not because of her outfit or her resume, but because of the quiet authority of a soul that's aligned. Now bring purpose into the picture. Purpose is what gives everything else direction. Without it, your mind and spirit might be active, but they'll be running in circles. Purpose makes the difference between activity and impact. You weren't put on this earth just to exist. You weren't created to merely survive bills and heartbreak and noise. There's something you were designed to build, to carry, to speak into this world. And the moment you recognize that your life isn't random, the way you carry yourself changes. You stop chasing every opportunity that sparkles. You stop needing everyone's approval because you're not running everywhere, you're walking towards somewhere. That's the power of purpose. It gives shape to your energy, focus to your time, and intention to your yes and no. When these three, mind, spirit, and purpose, are in alignment, something shifts. You no longer have to force outcomes. Things begin to flow, not because life got easier, but because you got clear. Clarity doesn't always mean knowing every step ahead, but it means being centered enough to trust the next one. You can tell when a woman is aligned. Her words are thoughtful, her movements are intentional, her presence is grounded. She doesn't try to prove, she simply becomes. She doesn't move in panic, she moves in purpose, but alignment takes work. It takes discipline to pause and assess what's out of sync. Maybe your mind is busy, but your spirit is weary. Or maybe your spirit is strong, but your purpose feels distant. You have to be honest enough to notice and brave enough to realign. That might mean cutting out some noise. That might mean stepping away from people who drain your focus. That might mean choosing growth over comfort again and again, because every time you choose to align your inner world, your outer world begins to reflect it. The most dangerous woman isn't the loudest in the room, it's the one who's aligned within. She can't be easily shaken. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't guess, she discerns. She doesn't burn out, she burns brighter because she knows how to refuel. And all of that begins with choosing alignment daily, not once, not occasionally, but as a lifestyle, as a standard, because when your mind is clear, your spirit is anchored, and your purpose is active, you are unstoppable. Not because of what you do, but because of who you've become. Legacy is built in the daily grind. Not in the highlight reel, not in the applause, not in the grand moments that get captured and celebrated, but in the quiet, often invisible, choices you make when no one is watching. The real work happens when you're tired, when it's inconvenient, when you could quit and no one would blame you, but you don't. That's where legacy lives. It's in the grit, the repetition, the discipline to keep showing up when the world has already moved on to something else. People often talk about legacy like it's some magical moment that arrives at the end of life, something you pass down when you've finally made it. But that's not how it works. Legacy is not some distant destination. It's being written right now in your daily habits, your decisions, your attitude. Every day, you're either building something that lasts or something that fades. Every text you send, every word you speak to your children, every time you choose integrity over comfort, every time you stay faithful to the work, even when it feels thankless, that's legacy in motion. It's not glamorous. In fact, most of the time, it feels like routine. It feels like folding the laundry, keeping the promise, staying late to finish the work, waking up early to pray, staying silent when your pride wants to speak. It's in choosing humility over recognition, choosing growth over ease, choosing to keep going when progress feels slow. That's where the story is being written, not in loud declarations, but in consistent action. You don't become a legend overnight. You become a legend by being loyal to the mission even when no one's clapping for you. So many people want the fruit, but they're not willing to till the soil. They want the reward, but they refuse the repetition. But the grind is not your enemy, it is your training ground. It is shaping your character, testing your endurance, sharpening your focus. It is weeding out the ego, strengthening the spirit, and teaching you how to hold what you say you want. Because if you can't be trusted with the mundane, you can't be trusted with the monumental. You don't rise to the level of your vision, you rise to the level of your habits. And those are formed in the grind. There's a reason the grind feels lonely. It's because legacy is personal. Not everyone will understand the sacrifices you make. Not everyone will clap when you say no to comfort in order to build something bigger than yourself. But legacy doesn't need their permission, it just needs your persistence. The woman who builds a legacy doesn't chase the crowd, she leads herself. She doesn't skip steps, she honors them. She knows the grind isn't beneath her because she understands that greatness is never found above the work, but within it. It's the little things that add up, the daily prayers, the hard conversations, the moments you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, the time you invest in your children, your craft, your purpose, the quiet way you keep showing up even when you don't feel seen. That is legacy. It's not built on perfection. It's built on presence. It's not built on loud victories. It's built on silent victories over your own excuses. And it's not built on one-time moments. It's built on lifelong commitments. We often underestimate the power of today. We think tomorrow is when we'll get serious, when we'll focus, when we'll change. But tomorrow is a fantasy. Today is what you have. Today is where your impact begins. And when you string enough purposeful todays together, you look up and realize you've been building a foundation no one can shake. You've been planting seeds that will bloom long after you're gone. That's the power of the grind. It multiplies in ways you can't always see in the moment. You don't need to have it all figured out to build a legacy. You just need to keep showing up day after day. Imperfectly, intentionally, willingly, and sometimes even painfully, legacy isn't for the lazy. It's for the woman who's willing to sacrifice her comfort to build something that matters. Something her children's children will benefit from, something that speaks even after she's gone. The grind tests you, molds you, refines you, but if you stay in it, it will also elevate you. The world may not see the hours you put in. They may not notice the tears, the restraint, the strength it takes to keep going. But legacy does. It sees it all, and one day someone will look at the life you lived and say, "She didn't just survive. She built something real." And they'll feel the strength of what you created not because you shouted it from the rooftops, but because you laid the bricks in silence, day after day, faithfully grinding. So now you know, it's not the loud moments that make a woman unforgettable, it's the quiet ones. The choices made in stillness, the habits practiced in private, the discipline chosen over distraction. It's in the way she protects her mind, fuels her spirit, honors her purpose, and embraces the daily grind without waiting for applause. Because she understands something most people miss. Greatness isn't stumbled upon. It's built one decision at a time. And if you truly want to rise, to live full, to leave something that echoes long after you're gone, then master the small things. Protect your alignment, train your focus, honor your process. These habits aren't just tasks, they are tools. Tools to shape the woman you were always meant to become, not someday, not when it's easy, but today. Every day, because when you commit to the daily, you unlock the destiny, and when your daily reflects your purpose, your legacy becomes unstoppable.